Welcome, everybody, for our meeting that we weren't sure we were going to have with all the changes going back and forth. So glad to see everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Guess we'll do a quick go around the room and start with Lynn. Introduce yourself.
Lynn Mims, instructor at Florida Tech.
I'm Jake Warnbacher, business strategy at USSSA.
John D'Antonio, Deputy Director of Office of Tourism.
Fred Poppy, City of Palm Bay.
Jamie Tajero, General Manager, Best Western Days in Cocoa Beach.
Terry Parks, Sports Commission, Space Coast Sports Commissioner.
And our ladies.
Angela Essing, with the Office of Tourism Operations Manager.
Juana Brooks, Office of Tourism, Administrative Assistant.
And you should maybe note too, we have two people joining us on Zoom. If you want to unmute and introduce yourself, you're welcome to. They don't have the ability to. We have a Ryan Steele and a Matt Emmy.
If I may, Ryan Kills from Eastern Florida State College and Emmy from the American Junior Golf Association.
Okay, thank you. All right, so first action item we have is approval of the agenda. Need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Second action item is just approval of the minutes. We all had a chance, Terry had sent those out. If you had a chance to read through the minutes, I just need a motion and a second on that.
Motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None opposed, motion carries. All right, going on to the sports grants. Terry, do you want to preface these?
Yes, Madam Chair. First and foremost, like I said, we want to make sure that we get all this information to you and as quickly as possible. But I think first we need to approve the acceptance that everybody did receive all 9 sports grant applications.
Okay, actually, I'm going to go back one. I do also need to ask if any committee members need to disclose any conflicts of interest with the agenda items.
I went ahead and recused myself for the flag football. I don't have any personal business interest in it, but I have a long-term relationship with the individual that runs that. So I just thought it was safer just to not to vote on it.
I also have a conflict of interest for 2 of the items, the Space Coast Clash Soccer Tournament, as well as the Hurricane Classic Soccer Tournament. My son, more likely than not, will participate in one of those, both of them, more likely than not. He's on a competitive team.
Okay,
I have a conflict with the spring games being it's at USSSA's facility, and I've worked on bringing that event here.
okay, so with that being said, we don't have a quorum without Chelsea on voting on some of the items when we get to the details.
We do have a quorum. We don't.
We have a quorum right now, but if they're recused from votes, then there won't be a quorum on those votes.
So
What requires 5 or 6?
5, correct, 5 for a quorum.
Are you included or no? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and we're talking about those particular items.
Yeah, just those
Just
particular.
those ones where they're okay.
So for, I guess what now? 4 will be short 1 on 4 of the grants. We'll be short 1 individual.
But Chelsea's on her way, so maybe we can do the things that we don't need.
So in the meantime, I could, we can change the order and go straight to 3, just give you some updates. And then
Sure.
come back and perhaps she'll make hope that everything's okay. I spoke with her this morning
Okay,
and she planned on being here. Okay, so sports event updates. So we'll start off with the National Kidney Foundation Ridge Salic Surf Fest that took place October 7th through the 9th. A wonderful event. I went out there myself and took in a couple of hours of that event. very well attended. Unfortunately, for each of these events, they have not submitted their post-event report because they have 60 days to do so. So they are still within their time allowed to submit. But I did go there, a great time, great support. And I'm anticipating them reaching, if not exceeding, those projected numbers during the application stage. The second event was the Space Coast Robotics Showdown that took place at Rockledge High School. And this is my first time attending an event such as this, in that it was what is considered a unconventional or untraditional type of sport. But it was a competition. It was approved, obviously. And when I tell you that it was jam-packed, if you had a blindfold on, you would have thought you were in a basketball game. That's how loud and ruckus it was. And it was full of passion, full of spirit. Not only was this event, it took up the entire gym, but they also used the auditorium and the library because they had the larger robots in the gym. They had the medium-sized robots in the auditorium and the smaller ones in the library. And again, very well attended. There were schools or teams from the west side of the state as well as South Florida that came up for that weekend to compete. And I'm eagerly anticipating that post-event report because I would love to see the final numbers on that one.
When does that come out? Do you know how many roommates?
Well, again, it was in the middle of October. So it'll be December. By the middle of December, we should have those. So about another month from now, if not sooner, hopefully. The Cocoa Beach Half Marathon and 10K. Another, we all know Mitch Barnes and as the event organizer for this event. Very well organized. There was nothing halfway done. It was great awards, great following, good support. I had a great time. The weather was beautiful. So again, this is an event that was another popular event by the people here in Cocoa Beach. Upcoming events in February, we have the Columbia University Golf Tournament. Columbia University will bring 16 Division I women's golf team to Duran Golf Club in February. They had a great event last year, and they did not apply for a grant last year because they were not aware of us having that product. But they applied this year, and I have the utmost confidence that they will reach their numbers in February. Florida Marathon Weekend is sponsored by Publix. This is another Mitch Barnes event, takes place down in Melbourne. Again, it's going to be very well attended. And Moon Golf Invitational has a history of being here in Brevard County. It typically was held at Duran, but the last couple of years it's been held at Suntree Golf Course, or Country Club rather. And it too is another Division I golf tournament with 16 or 17 teams coming to the area over the span of 3 or 4 days to compete for that championship there. If I may continue to section 4 with the conventional news.
Yes.
Coming in the near future, starting next week, in the spirit of promoting the Space Coast of Florida, not only as a destination, but as an actual sports commission, we are actively going out and engaging the sports community. Next week, I'll be attending the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association Convention. We have not had any lacrosse events here, so we are going out to try and find some to come here. We have the facilities, we have the capability of supporting such an event. I will be there next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, speaking with coaches to come down and perhaps from the north and come down and train at some of our locations primarily. But who knows? We never know what can come from that. Maybe we have some college games or tournaments down here. So, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so I'm going there to let us know that we are actively seeking teams to come here to the Space Coast in the future.
Can I just ask a question? What, in terms of venues, what are you selling in terms of venues?
That's a great question, Leanne. Right now, primarily it's going to be Vieira Regional Park. They have the two multi-purpose fields that are already lined for lacrosse. I've spoken with the Brevard lacrosse team who actually owns the goals there, and they'll be willing to let them use, or any team that's visiting, use the goals for their practices. I spoke with the Parks and Recreation superintendent of that area and reassured them that there would be no conflict of schedule, because when teams would typically come here, they'll be doing their training in the morning times, well before kids get out of school and teams come for the evening practices. So they'll be well out of the way by then. But that is the primary location right now. And then hopefully we can build upon that in the future.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So this is something I'm very familiar with, and it's a really great opportunity for us to bring these lacrosse teams in for spring training, because one, it doesn't cost us any money except for Terry doing his thing. They don't apply for grant or anything like that, because they can just rent the fields for when they need them. And like Terry was talking about, they come in, and the nice thing about it is I've experienced is that you go to the coaches, you just tell them, they go, here's when you can use the fields for your team training and your scrimmages. This is it. And they work with that. So you don't have to worry about interfering with the local groups using the fields and the facilities. And this is, it pays dividends, because you don't pay anything for it really. They bring in their teams, they stay here, it's mainly during spring break, and they fill hotel rooms. And they'll be more than likely filling the ones nearby the Vieira Sports Complex. So it's pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big impact by these teams coming down.
The second convention that I will be attending is the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. That one will be taking place in December in Louisville, Kentucky. It too is going to be the mecca for college programs, grassroots programs, just anyone and everyone associated with the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, I will have access to during those 2 or 3 days while I'm there. And again, we have multiple venues from Titusville to Vieira, obviously, even down to Max Roads in West Melbourne, where we can house competitions at a nice facility, a nice venue. Again, that's in our wheelhouse. There's only a few sports that I would consider to be in our wheelhouse, and fast pitch and baseball are both what I would consider to be there. The following month in January, 4th through the 6th, I'll be in Dallas, Texas, again attending the American Baseball Coaches Association. And this one has already paid dividends, this relationship, because I'll have a meeting tomorrow with a baseball group that's looking to bring a 100+ team tournament to the area. And I haven't even gone out there yet. So again, the goal obviously is to bring in as many high quality events to the area. And those high quality events that will produce significant economic impact to Brevard County. That's our goal. So as you notice, we're going out there and actively casting out our net with the hopes of bringing those types of events here to the area. Sports destination management. So last month, October, I was notified that we, for the Beach and Boards Fest, Ron John Beach and Boards Fest, we won an award, the 2023 Champion of Economic Impact in Sports Tourism Award. It was again, another one of our events, our beach events. Again, that's in our wheelhouse. Very well supported. And because of that, we really get some acknowledgement. So hopefully it's the first, it will be the first of many.
And we can use that to bring in more business.
Absolutely. I'm sorry for being long-winded, but I want to get all that information to you.
Good stuff. Gotta love awards. Real quick, like the conventions that you're going to, so fast pitch and the baseball, do they have dates tied to any of those, or are they all year round?
No, those are specific dates for those organization members.
I meant for their events, the actual events that they have.
Madam Chair. So this is, the answer to your question is no.
No,
And because what these people represent are the baseball coaches. And well, I was gonna chime in anyway, but this is, again, this is one of those things where these baseball coaches and these softball coaches represent collegiate teams, a lot of collegiate teams. And where we see the value in doing this is again, bringing them down for that spring training, for that spring break training. And so that's where, again, this value is, because what you do is you build on your spring training to then build on to tournaments and events, things like that. And the experience goes is, once you start having all these teams come down for spring training, you probably know well about this, is that then all of a sudden, this coach and that coach and that coach and that coach, they go, oh, you're gonna be down there at the same time? Why don't we play in a tournament? And then you try and develop that tournament atmosphere on doing these things. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we are developing a new trade show booth. So we'll have that made and ready to be available. So when Terry goes to these shows, we'll be well represented in the booth. The people can come by and pay him a visit. He can show off what we have to offer. And he's also working on some imagery, some video that he'll run on his laptop so that people can see it and get a feel for it. And that's what he'll be doing at those trade shows, bringing in that business.
And if at all possible, the reason I was asking about dates is obviously spring break is peak time for us already.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously compression is always a good thing in a market, but we would love to bring events in when we need it in September and early December and other parts of the season. So I didn't know if you wanted to target different sports that can come in other times as well.
It's not so, it's more so what do we have to offer as opposed to the time of the year, and there are times that are competition, because you know, they're competing, a lot of these schools some play fall ball in the fall and won't be able to get away. But yeah, so we'll take all that into consideration.
All right, is that your report?
Yes, that is my report, and yeah, that's my report.
Okay. Any comments, questions on his report? Yes, Fred.
Yeah, but a couple of years ago, TDC was working on putting together a listing of venues and everything for various different sports. And I'm not sure that ever took place, but when you're talking about this, I mean, I've got 3 or 4 complexes that can handle the baseball and the softball. And there's a number of different venues throughout the county. So when you're talking about 100 teams possibly coming for a tournament, I mean, you're needing a lot of field space. And so Brevard County's got some, but they certainly don't have all the fields that you're gonna need to handle some of that side. So I know Cocoa Beach has a complex satellite. We've got 2 baseball and 2 softball complexes. So I think, maybe taking a look at what all different venues that you have, and then talking to those different entities. For me, we've already factored things like this into our fee structure for rentals and everything. So if it's a TDC endorsed thing, the rental prices for those fields is different than someone just coming off the street. So you may want to contact some of these other cities and that have facilities and see if they can come in line with that, and that'll help you. Gymnasium's another one. I know, we were talking about volleyball and basketball tournaments a couple of years ago, and so the number of gymnasiums that you have and those type of venues are going to be important, because if you're going to project yourself, you're going to want to tell them how many fields or how many gyms or whatever that you have available. Because if you're bringing 100 teams down here and you only have 6 fields or 8 fields, that's not going to work. So just a suggestion.
Madam Chair. That's definitely, Fred, you're right on track, because it's one of those things, no venue, no event, right? If they need 50 fields and you got 49, they're not coming. So one of the things that Terry put together is, sorry, Terry, I'm talking for you, but is we have Play Easy, which is an online system that we use to promote all the venues and the facilities that we have in the destination. So besides what Terry's put together and will have available on the laptop when he goes to these trade shows, they can already come to Play Easy and find our information about the entire destination. So that is ongoing. So, and I think we have just about everything listed there, right there.
Yes, we do, and it is ever growing. We're still working on it because we have some exciting things coming down the pike as far as the facilities are concerned. And as far as speaking to your point about the volleyball and basketball, that climate has changed tremendously in that world, because now we don't go to Cocoa Beach High School and Satellite High School, and we go to one venue. We do basketball games or tournaments. So until we get to a spot where we have a venue that has 8 basketball courts in it, 16 volleyball courts in one site, because that's what the current climate is now, that we will never host a volleyball or basketball event. And that's just where we are right now. And I think it is a dire need, if we're going to be serious about this sports commission, that we need to go in that direction.
I agree.
Wholeheartedly. I mean, we need that. That's where we need to go.
Could I just ask a question about the Play Easy? Is there public access to that? Or do you have to invite?
It is public access. Obviously, we have admin rights to it because we're putting all the information in there. But sure, I will share that information with the committee members this evening.
Thank you, Terry.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go on to 2A, approval and acceptance of the sports grant cycle. I need a motion and a second that we've all received all 9 applications. Anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to acknowledge that all committee members have received all 9 applications.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. So everyone received all the applicants. Okay, and then the big thing we need to do today is obviously, okay, Chelsea's not gonna make it. So let's go ahead and vote on the ones that we can. And I don't know, are we able to vote on the others via email? Or will they not allow us to do that? Does anybody know?
I do not know, Madam Chair.
All right, well, let's get started. So first one, do you want to go ahead and?
First of all, can we acknowledge which ones we're going to be?
Yeah, so we know that right now.
Like football, Space Coast Clash, Hurricane, and then mine was the spring game.
So the ones that we need to vote on will be moon golf,
You have the women's national tournament for golf,
the
the junior-
NCAA,
Yeah,
yeah, the
the-
triathlon, duathlon.
the regional circuit championship, and the US Open tournament.
You want to start us off?
All right.
Like football?
Flag football.
I don't think we have enough flag football, right?
We don't.
We don't.
There's,
Yes, yeah.
okay.
So we, obviously, in looking at your score sheets, they were below the minimum of 70 for grant approval per grant guidelines, and will not be eligible for funding during this fiscal year.
back to that one. All right. All right, first one to vote on will be the moon golf junior all-star.
Absolutely. Moon Golf Junior All-Star Golf Tournament held at Durand Golf Course is a junior all-star event. It goes from April 18th through the 21st. They projected 380 room nights, and they are asking for $6,000 per grant guidelines at $15 per room. The maximum award can be $5,700.
So I'll need a motion. If there's a motion to approve them for the 5,700 or a smaller amount or Any kind of motion one of you would like to make on that? My only comments on it, is they didn't have any lodging secured yet. I always think if they're serious about it, they're gonna have some lodging secured. Of course, I'm a hotelier, so where I work, but it is a nice 4-day event.
I make a motion to fund them at the 5,700.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unopposed. All right. We're gonna skip the Space Coast Spring Games. Move on to the NJCAA Division I Golf National Championship.
Okay, this event is a National Junior College Tournament. The dates are May 18th through the 23rd, also held at Duran Golf Club. They project 600 room nights, making per again rent guidelines at $15 per room, the maximum award of being $9,000.
The motion,
Right, Madam Chairman, just a question.
yes.
Harry, why, if there seems to be such a disconnect between the amounts that they're requesting and their amounts that they're eligible for, why is there such a disconnect in terms of the application process?
So it may be that the guidelines weren't studied, to the point where because again, this is the first time we're actually going to the $15 per room. I mean, I don't want to speak for anyone.
Sure.
I just don't I don't know myself. In fact, there's only 2 or 3 of them. The rest of them are pretty close, to be honest with you. If you look at the rest of the ads compared to what they are allowed to get, because yes, there is a big discrepancy between these 2 amounts here. And it would be a big event for us to host. But again, we're sort of pigeonholed at this point in time because of the $15 per room night for this event.
Is there a motion I need a motion to approve the $9,000?
Motion to approve the $9,000.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move on to the women. Triathlon, do you have one?
Cocoa Beach Triathlon Duathlon will take place from April 13th to the 14th at the Cocoa Beach Aquatic Center. They are projected 800 room nights, which again, per grant guidelines, the maximum award would be $12,000.
And if they don't hit that number, they just get the amount, correct?
Correct. They get proportionately equivalent to what they produce.
So even if it seems like a stretch, at the end of the day, they won't get more than they brought in.
Correct.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the $12,000?
I make a motion to approve the 12,000. I think this event has proven itself historically. I think they've made their room nights and every time that I remember.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. We're gonna skip the Space Coast Clash and move on to the ESA Regional Surfing Championships.
The Eastern Surfing Association Southeastern Regional Championships will take place April 12th to the 14th at Paradise Beach Park. They project 12,000 room nights. Their maximum, 1,200, thank you. 1,200 room nights, with a maximum award being $18,000 for this event.
15,000?
18,000.
Skipped ahead. Okay, so I need a motion to approve 18,000 for the surfing championships.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Easy. And the USA Beach Running Championships.
The USA Beach Running Championship will take place April 28th at Shepherd Park. It is projecting 400 room nights with a maximum award being $6,000.
I make a motion to approve the 6,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And that is our last action item, aside from the items that we can't vote on. Any other discussion? Anybody? Anybody wants to discuss?
What's the process for the those applicants that we weren't able to look at today?
If we can, I guess legal has to approve that we can send it out via email.
That would definitely have to be something that we go through. It would be to go to legal to find out what the options are for. But it may require, I'm just thinking out loud right now that I'll pop up on the sport committee meeting.
Could we do so remotely?
That's the big question that has to be answered, because under normal circumstances, from my understanding is that you have to have a quorum in the room
Physical form.
before you can allow, because then, if you remember several occasions, what we've done is we've asked people, take a vote on allowing people, that are coming in on Zoom to vote.
Even if we tried to get Chelsea remotely, we wouldn't have a quorum in the rooms.
How many individuals were we missing total?
We've had 2 step down, Mr. Scott and Mr. McGrail have resigned their posts, and Ms. Denenberg was unavailable. She's out of town.
So we're missing 2.
Correct. Mr. Chelsea, correct.
So I guess I'm going to, we're going to meeting in a minute, but I will have to send something out to possibly have another pop-up. I hate to do that to everybody, to those that travel far.
Christy, I have one more question before we adjourn.
Yes.
I know, Terry, you mentioned that there might be some changes to the committee. Is there any update on that, or are we just business as usual going forward?
Changes, you mean as far as the
structure, or
well, you talking about personnel, or you talking about
The politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're good to go right now. Like I said, I don't want to speak out of turn, but as you recall, it's been in the news. We had some things going on the last couple of months with other grants, which impacted us, unfortunately. And that was reversed, and here we are, back again. And before I go any further, I do want to just let you all know, working on a short notice like y'all have done, I really appreciate that. I really do, because I threw this in your laps on Thursday, I think it was, and without any gripes or complaints, you just stepped up and got the score sheets done and sent back to me, and we couldn't have done any of this without you. So I do appreciate that. But going forward, we will have some discussions as far as how we operate here as a committee. I can't say that. I can't get into it, but I can say that.
For future years.
For future years, correct.
This year will be, it did flip where there was no funding, and then it flipped back to business as usual for this year.
For this year.
okay, thank you.
For this committee or for all subcommittees that are grant?
I can't speak to that,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I'm on 2 other committees, and it's been pretty much the same.
In terms of business as usual, or everything's up in the
Everything
air?
is business as usual right now. You know.
And things could always change. you
Exactly.
know.
You're in a political climate, and the only thing you can be certain of is there is going to be change.
Well said.
I did have a question. In fairness to the applications that we couldn't review that obviously meet the criteria for funding, I think, it's incumbent on us to do everything we can to at least review it and give them an opportunity for funding.
Okay, well,
I,
can we make a recommendation but not an approval? No, you can't
It's
really do
not binding.
anything.
Yeah, it's not, yeah. Madam Chair, you can do whatever you want. And, that's all.
So let's just how you want to have discussion on the ones that,
I think it may be important that maybe the applicant know how the seated voting members feel.
absolutely, okay, let's go to the national, no, not flag football,
The Space Coast Spring Games is the first
the
one.
basket.
If it's okay with everyone, because I just met this organization, about a month or so ago. If I could just yield my time to Jake and let him speak to it, to get some more knowledge of this organization in this group.
absolutely. Last year, this was kind of a spinoff from the Orlando Spring Games, which always had between 150 and 200 teams participating for a month's time. We had a gentleman that we had worked closely with kind of came to us with an idea that he wanted to start his own version of the Spring Games at the Space Coast Complex. So he did that last year. I think last year he got between 45 and 50 teams. And this year he's already on track. He's well over 100 teams with more committing each day. It's a solid event with every team that's coming in needs a hotel. They're here from a 5-week period. Now, not all 150 teams are going to be here for that whole 5 weeks, but every different week there's more teams coming in, more teams coming in for 150 total teams that are going to be here throughout really a 30-day, 5-week period. So it's a very good event for us. I'm excited to have it.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Is it plus matter?
Victor Canales.
That was what you needed. So I would support this for the 25,000, when we do get to vote on this one. I think it sounds like a great event, lots of nights. Any other discussion on it?
Can't go wrong with softball.
Agree.
I played semi-pro for 20 years and traveled all over the place, and every place you went, there was always a lot of teams. And it's not just hotels, but the whole economic impact that it brings to the area is tremendous.
One thing I'll add too is that if this goes well, these are lower level, I don't want to say lower level, but just smaller universities, NAIA, junior colleges, some Division III schools. If this goes well and this is successful, we have a real opportunity here to bring in a Division I tournament, and when you bring in a Division I tournament like that, now you're talking about bringing in serious amounts of spectators, televised, all that stuff. And I can speak that's a very strong possibility that could come out of this.
Madam Chair. So 100% what Jake just said. In my experience, we started off with hosting these Division III NJCAA Division II teams that were jonesing for a place to go and do their spring training. And Kevin Smith, who worked with me after I left the Sports Commission, turned that into the Big East Big Ten baseball tournament, and it was televised. It was on whatever channel, the Big Ten channel. It was a big deal. They hosted that at the Phillies complex over in Clearwater. So it's great because you start off with these teams, and those teams don't go away. The D3s, the D2s, the junior colleges, they're still coming here. But now you have the D1s that come in. What the D1s really deliver on is that promotion of the destination for not only sports, but as obviously a destination for spring break or just as a destination for travel. And they bring the television, in the case over in Clearwater, that was what Kevin put together. And that was very, very powerful, very powerful. This is all about everything that Terry is doing It's about building that momentum. You start, you go after those D3s, those D2s, because D1s, they can go wherever they want, do whatever they want, because they're powerful. Then you just start building on it, then all of a sudden they want to go, wait a minute, what's going on there? We want to be a part of that.
Okay, any other discussion on the? All right, the other, next one was the Space Coast Clash Soccer.
Yes, so that's an event that's been here before numerous times. Space Coast United Soccer Club is the organization. 2 days in April, the 6th and the 7th, 800 room nights, $12,000 is what they were asking for. Never had an issue with them as far as the post-event report. Never had an issue with them as far as the lodging report. They've always been prompt and complete with everything. So I'm pretty sure you all are familiar with that group as well.
Yeah, I think they were asking for 15. I think it worked out as 12 with the $15.
Correct.
Yeah.
Any discussion on Space Coast Clash? Yeah, another one I'm happy to support. It's not a good event. All right. And last,
The last one is the Hurricane Classic Soccer Tournament, another soccer tournament. They asked for 18, unfortunately, again, for grant guidelines, they were only, the maximum would be $15,000. They asked for $18,000. This event would take place in August of next year. We have plenty of time to get that back in front of us before to get approval. If things don't work out, but I'm hoping for the best.
is this a repeat?
No, this is, yes, this isn't a repeat event. This is the Central Brevard Soccer
Oh, it's
Club,
here.
Central Brevard.
So it's August and by the side.
Right. Mitchell Ellington and Kelly Park and Space Coast Community Park is where it'll be taking place. And like I said, usually typically those youth sports events like basketball, soccer, baseball, those prove well. They do well as far as producing room nights for a weekend.
Okay. Any discussion on Hurricane Classic? Another one, I'm happy to support that as well, but we need to have a quorum to do that vote. All right, does anybody else have anything for the group?
Terry, a couple of years ago, we had an opportunity during the pandemic where the Cancun Challenge, because of travel and such, didn't materialize. They came here for the Space Coast Challenge, and I think it was on CBS Sports and such.
Correct.
Then there was some discussion of them having potentially a spin-off tournament. Whatever happened to that?
Unfortunately, I wasn't privy to that information when I came here, but being such a rabid basketball fan, I'm definitely looking for opportunities to bring events such as that back to the area. So hopefully I'll have an update for you the next time we meet.
Okay, anybody else? All right, with that, we'll get legal opinion on how we need to do the next one. Ideally, we could do it by Zoom if we can. If not, we'll just do it. It'll be a quick meeting. So, need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Yeah, a second. We need a second.
Oh, we need a second?
Second motion.
There we go.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
You know,